Let's do this. We are starting with Canadian celebrities behaving badly. What? This never happens. Well, our national treasure, Pamela Anderson, revealed on Andy Cohen's Sirius XM show that she actually left the Golden Globes. That was just last weekend. She left early because she felt, quote, super bad after seeing a fellow Canadian in the audience. The Pam and Tommy series that Seth Rogen produced was a semi-fictional story about Pamela's marriage to Tommy Lee, and of course that huge scandal surrounding the stolen sex tape. Who could forget? Yeah. Well, Pam said that she gave Seth a death stare at the Golden Globes, but she didn't actually confront him. So the question is confrontation the best way to deal with someone who has wronged you?
It is. I hope people are like elevated enough to confront. I think it takes an emotionally responsible person to do it. In this case, I think yes. I think it would have been well received. I think Seth Rogen isn't a bad guy. In fact, I think the two of them would come out being better people, in a sense, if there was a confrontation. But on the same hand, if you think about it, she kind of just did confront him in a way, didn't she? She wasn't having a little gab with her pal, Andy Cohen, being like, oh my God, this is sort of bothering me. Should I confront him? Should I talk to him about it? She was saying this to Andy Cohen and his millions of followers. So for me, it was like a confrontation is between two people, and they're mutually involved.
So do you think she made things better or worse by doing what she did?
I think it's just different. I think it was like a public airing of a grievance rather than a confrontation.
I think she made things worse. I think
You
she
think
made
she
things,
made things
I
worse?
think she made things 10 times worse. First of all, I think the word confrontation is what gets everybody's back up against the wall. Let's just say conversation. She needs to have a conversation with Seth.
That's good.
And listen, I understand. We have one woman in the audience who was like, yes, confrontation. And I love that, but I know that not everybody's equipped to have those. They get very nervous, and maybe she was fearful, because the last thing you want to happen is that you approach him, and then it becomes contentious, and then it makes it worse. But if I were her, I would have done the opposite. Before you leave, because I know it's like fight or flight, and she took flight. And I think what she needed to do was instead just stand her ground and go up to him and be like, hi, how are you? Nice to see you. Introduce yourself to his wife and say, you know, this is not the place for us to have this conversation, but I think we need to have a conversation about that series you did. I know you never expected us to be in this place, because I think when he did that project, he probably thought that she was never going to have the career she's having today. And just be really kind about it. It's like, 1 minute, you know, give me a call. Let's see how we can do it on the phone or face-to-face, whatever you're comfortable with, so that you can you give him a chance, because now he is the villain, and now we're having a conversation. Now Andy's millions of followers are all like, oh, you're a horrible person, Seth, for what you did. Meanwhile, a lot of us watched that, including me, watched that series, and I didn't think about how it was going to impact her life, because there was a time in her career where we did not think about her as a person. She was this thing. She was this person of sex tape. She was just this porn star in people's minds.
Yeah, no, it's true. The challenge with that is, which I totally agree, it sounds so good on paper. The problem with that is she's handling it really well. I thought she was really calm in the interview.
Maybe she forgot she was in an interview. Sorry.
Maybe she did. It was very cozy. She looked very cozy in that interview. This, to me, she's taking it so well, and maybe because it's been, that came out in 2022. This is so sad to me. First of all, it's Canadian on Canadian crime. And I don't like that right now. I don't like, we need to stick together. We need to stick together right now. However, this just went to show you that this was yet another man who profited off of Pamela's body the way that all the other men did who sold that sex tape. This was not just, oh, you did a project about me and it hurt my feelings. He made millions of dollars off of the Pam and Tommy miniseries on Hulu. Millions, because he acted in it and he was also the executive producer. And he never even picked up the phone to say, hey, I'm gonna do this about you. Would you like to even give your input? Even though I watched it and I thought she came out looking really good in it.
Maybe that's why he felt like he didn't have to call her and ask her, because he felt like he was painting her.
If he cared about her, you give her a cut of the check.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair to say. Well, to go back where we started, I definitely don't think he should have confronted her at the awards show, even in the, or she should have confronted him at the awards show. Just even if it was in a way of like what you were suggesting.
Hey, let's have a conversation later.
I think that would hang over you the whole night and just ruin the vibe. I think if anything,
it's been hanging over her life for years.
I know.
He can handle 2 hours.
I don't know. You say the word. I know. Here's the thing, in real life, and I don't know anything about him, I feel like not everyone is emotionally mature enough to handle a confrontation, even if it is a conversation. A lot of people being told about themselves and the way in which they've wronged you, they may even in your face to you be like, I'm taking it in. And then afterwards, they are internally stewing. If they don't get defensive in the moment, they're gonna come back, they're gonna be plotting a revenge towards you of stuff they're gonna dig up on you. Like, we've met people like this before. So sometimes I think the best thing to do when someone's wronged you is to just do the work on yourself of how you can get past it. And actually, they don't have a relate. They're not friends. You just get to do the work on yourself.
But wait a second, but you're running into that person at every event you go to. He's not somebody, this is not like a high school boyfriend where you don't know where he is and he's living his life. This is someone who's in your circle all the time.
That if she does the work on healing it, knowing full well, and she's come a long way. She was on this show, and that woman is the picture of like elegance and poise and being in her body. Like, she's so interesting. And she said backstage, she's like, I'm not used to people. She said this to you and me. I'm not used to people being in my corner and rooting for me.
Yeah.
And so she's done a lot of work. And so now I think actually if she could kind of get past this and do her healing on it, what would be the most powerful thing in the world is to be in a room with him and not care anymore.
But
just not care.
Wait. But the fact
she wins. She's winning.
No, but she's not winning because she brought it up. That means it's still bothering her.
Because if
she's done a lot of work.
And also still be mad, because I would argue, maybe a part of me says that the reason why we are having this Pamela renaissance is because of Pam and Tommy. So our conversations have changed about how we, to your point earlier, about how we treat women. Once upon a time, the way we treated Britney, the way we treated Pamela, the way we treated Monica Lewinsky, like Whitney Houston, Princess Diana. There's a long list of women that we have done dirty, and we have come and woken up and realized we did these women dirty. So here's the thing, maybe because she wasn't making money about the, she is here, and success is the best revenge.
That's the win.
Yeah. Maybe.
But cutting somebody out also, there's a cleansing of your soul that also does.
This next story is similar to Pamela's in a way. CTV News is reporting on a social media pickup trend where men wearing Meta smart glasses like these are filming women while trying to flirt. Now, in most of these examples, the women have no idea they were being recorded, and the conversations are then posted on social media. So what's your reaction to men Fair.
Oh, this is terrible. Yeah. Okay, so here's the thing. The tech, listen, we have all these devices. I don't know how different, it is a little different than, you know, not knowing that you're being recorded on a phone, for example. To me, it's not about the tech. This is about bad male behavior. Like, why are we focusing on the glasses? Why are men doing this?
Did you know that this story focuses on men doing this, but I found it very interesting to find out very quickly that women are doing this too. We have one example. Take a look.
Hi, can you help me with something?
What?
Directions.
Yeah, what are you looking for?
To your heart.
So actually, there is a whole Okay, but there's a whole thing you can search on TikTok of, it's actually under the search Ray-Ban smart glasses pickup lines, and there's men doing ones which I immediately thought were creepy, and women doing them. Like, what did we think of that?
Women don't generally kill men out of sexual flirtation things.
We don't raise
generally.
Yeah. Listen, you know, when I heard this story, I'm like, Jess, anybody who's in the dating scene, you know, I'm talking about one more thing to add to our plate. We are already trying to, it's so funny, there was a story about people having like online dating fatigue and everybody wants to go back to meeting face to face, and it's like, yes, let's go back outside and talk to each other. And then Meta's like, oh, do you want to go back out and talk to each other? Listen, this is one thing I want ladies to know. This is another thing we have to think about while we're out here. This is what the glasses look like. So now when you're out on a date, or maybe you're out at a bar and you're with your girlfriends and you're talking to a guy, be aware that if he's wearing this, because they come with clear lenses, that he could be recording that conversation. And perhaps you're an adult and you want to have a sexual interaction with this person because you're an adult and you're allowed to do that. Remember, if he's wearing these, you have to ask those questions, right?
And
my whole thing is, if there's a man out there who approaches me with these glasses, be prepared for me to slap them off your face, because I'm not dealing with this. I'm not dealing with this. It's just one more thing for us to have to think about, and it's just not fair.
Oh my goodness. Isn't this fun?
Business. Oh my God, these are the glasses Tom Cruise wore in Risky Business. And it is risky business.
Yes. We can have a conversation.
Okay, someone wrote to Miss Manners to ask if it's okay to tell her young colleagues that they have bad table manners. She writes that these women set their bread on the bare table along with their dirty cutlery, and they cut up their meals into tiny pieces like toddlers. So is it acceptable to tell your coworkers if you think that they have bad manners?
Oh, what do we think? Yeah, I guess it depends on the relationship.
The young people are saying no. Sorry.
The young people are like, don't you tell me anything about myself.
Yeah.
Nothing. I think a lot of things, there's a lot of ifs. So if you are close enough, I think if there's a significant age difference, if you have mutual respect, if they're not. If. So in the perfect scenario, I could see somebody like, you're significantly younger than me, Jess Allen. But I think if you have a mutual respect and they're going to take it well, but I wouldn't say it because you have bad table manners. I would say you're a whole package as an employee, so people will judge you not just on you as a person, but like you could go so far as to say, if the boss walked in and saw this, are you up for future promotions? It says something about you the way that this whole thing is going down. But then I would say that's it. You tell them once, and then I would also say it's also not my job to take care of you and fix you. So there's a line. I wouldn't say that. That would say.
That's what I was going to say. Like, I don't think that would go over very well in there. You going to tell somebody?
I would rather confront Seth Rogen at the Golden Globes on behalf of Pamela Anderson.
You wouldn't tell anyone?
Table manners, again, what kind of relationship do we have? Because if we're already buddies, then I can whisper to you and we could even make a joke. I was like, what are you?
If I could, some people, I don't mean to call anyone out, but where they take their
I know you're talking
their
about.
fork and then they're carving up stuff like this. I feel like we're buddy enough.
I would get down.
Jess!
Listen, I would get down to eye level and be like, "What are you doing?"
Yeah,
and we would laugh about it.
We would laugh about it.
If I don't have that relationship with that person, I'm just gonna look at them and in my head I can hear my mother's voice going, "No home training. That's fine." Like, I'm just gonna quietly judge.
I wonder if there's any room for in this conversation to have to do with class, because I grew up middle class, but just barely, and I feel like my parents did teach me the basics of table manners, and it was so that if I ever found myself in a situation with fancier people that I would adjust my behavior accordingly, and lo and behold, I have found myself as I got older in situations with fancier people. And you know what I've gleaned? That often it's the fancier people who don't have the table manners.
No home training.
Well,
no
that's
home training.
very interesting.
Because they never needed it. They never or it's a power thing. Like no one would ever tell them like you don't cut your food like that.
That's what I don't like about this story. Right? It's class. I think lately we're having more conversations around this idea of etiquette and how fraught that term can be. That when it comes up against like different cultural habits and different, different class levels, that actually it's telling you that there's one way to be in the world. And that's why this woman, I'm kind of picking up like some extra undercurrents that I don't like. I'm imagining this woman who wrote in is a bit of a busybody. She's a bit of a, what are you doing over there kind of thing, right? And I'm not saying that there aren't people who you could help out a little bit if you feel, but I don't feel like that's the energy.
Because I wouldn't tell someone if I didn't like them because I'd want to sabotage them. Because whether we like it or not, it does matter. Like people do watch it. People might not say anything and judge, but if you're in a situation, it could be something as small as the way you cut your food or the way you hold a wine glass that turns people off.
You're right. We do a lot of HR training, and I just feel like after all the training, I feel like the answer to this question is no. Don't say anything. Keep it to yourself. Let's move on. Has self-care become just another chore? A writer for Vice says that it's become another task to check off your list. So get your 10-minute meditation in, make a list of things that you're grateful for, and so on and so on. So has self-care become a chore? Y'all, okay, front row's not feeling it.
This is the saddest thing in the world if self-care has become a chore. I'm like the pleasure pusher, so I don't think it should feel like a chore.
Like a good name for something else.
I am. Like, that's what I live for this stuff. I think what this is about is social media. I think there's a certain generation of people who are watching everybody trying to optimize every moment. That's part of it. And also are really falling victim to this idea of too much information. It's like, I need to do, I get my bath done. I need to take the right supplements. I need need to get my Kegels done. Like all of the things that you're trying to remember to do at any given moment. And I think it can feel really, really overwhelming. But we've lost the plot if we think of self-care as like something that's a bad
unfortunately,
thing.
it has just as you said, gone on to the to-do list.
Yeah.
It has just been added to the checklist, right? And let's be honest, this is disproportionately impacting women.
Yeah.
I don't know how many men are like, oh my God, I didn't journal today. Like, I don't know that this is a thing, right? Like, I forgot to meditate. What am I? My cold plunge. Sorry, Cyn.
Yeah.
So what I think is, I think we have to, I think you're right, it is social media, but I also think there's like, we constantly think that movement is progress, that if we're not constantly doing something, we are losers. Like, I actually think hustle culture has even now co-opted what is supposed to be, by definition, self-care, which is supposed to be something that brings you joy and pleasure.
And rest.
And rest and restoration and all of these
Unfortunately, though,
things.
self-care is parceled under like the global wellness movement, which is a $7 trillion industry.
Sure. Yeah.
So I think this association of self-care sort of taking the back seat is because self-care has been commodified. And it's like you can only achieve self-care if you pay for it. And it's so for me, it's like I want to quiet out that noise, front row, young people. I see you. I'm too young.
She's being
Don't
very
you?
she's being very confrontational right now.
Yeah,
Young people,
but I do. I want to like
saying.
quiet that noise and realize self-care is not the thing that I necessarily have to buy. It's the
that you
stupid
do.
stuff, like going for just being quiet,
Sitting
like,
down and reading a book.
Exactly.
Yeah,
it's
knitting.
free.
Yeah. I think that to me that was the problem. Like, it's because somebody told you that that's self-care. Because I'm like, self-care is what you need to do so that you can recharge your batteries. Almost, you know, you put your phone on the dock when you get home. That for me is self-care. And self-care can sometimes just be sitting in my house quietly listening to jazz and doing nothing, but staring in. I don't need to put on a million masks and an LED this and I never subscribe to that. Sometimes I just need to be quiet. And I think that's we've lost the plot in that way.
Yeah.
That was nice.
That was nice.
A little confrontational.
Self-care.
It was a little confrontational. Whatever.
My self-care is I'm going to the club tonight, so.
And that is my nightmare.